with other niggas. Hey, Mike friends was his security guards. He was hanging out with them niggas playing games. So when you sitting there saying friends and you think about the greatest of greatest, you like, them niggas said, I'm not really here to be your friend.
Yeah, but one of them niggas on the team was friends. That's what I'm saying. Somebody on there.
I'm asking you, who? I can be proved wrong.
Probably like Pippen and one of them.
Oh, you saying outside of them? Yeah, some niggas just gonna be friends.
Yeah, you gotta have some friends on the team.
All 11 niggas was friends outside of Mike. I'm not saying
that works.
Yeah. If that's the case, I think if we talk about the greatest niggas on the team, some of them niggas didn't fuck. But yeah, you probably right about that. All 11 other niggas probably was like, yo, fuck homeboy. This nigga's crazy. So I don't think that you have to, but I think it's good that you should have teammates, especially look.
Welcome back. So now we're going to discuss some football. So when asked about his relationship with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown said they are not as close as they once were. He said nothing happened. People just grow apart and nothing happened between him and me, our families, our wives, anything. Nothing like that ever happened. So he wanted to make the record straight because a lot of rumors have been circulating around. And he said, and I think both parties accepted that. So Maurice, after kind of hearing this story between AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, the relationship, and we know that he is doing different things now on a different team, do you believe you need to be friends with teammates to have massive success in sports?
Yes.
Nah, I don't think that you have to be. I don't think that you have to be friends.
I knew you was leaning in that direction. I tried to give you the right answer. But go ahead,
Nah, you actually don't. I think that is a big myth. I think that if you're friends with somebody, like the victories that you have, they have different memories, and you end up enjoying the victories a whole lot better. But I think like if you're dealing with mature people, you can still serve as a function. Like you can do your job without being like, buddies with a person per se. It becomes a job. It becomes like, am I doing my professional duties to basically, meet the requirements of the team? I think what ends up happening is that guys are mature enough to separate the personal feelings from the professional obligation. That's what I really think. And I think like, if you get into tight situations with teammates, I think you'll go a little harder, pause, or you'll fight a little bit more for your teammate. But you don't necessarily need that to basically have massive success in sports, because I've been on championship teams as a player and I've seen it. Guys aren't the best of friends, but everybody is working towards the ultimate common goal. That's what I would say.
After 10 years, I finally got my chance. I made it. I'll be free.
And you won a championship with people that wasn't your friends? With no friends on that team?
Yeah, I've had friends, but we respect each other enough to fight for the goal. But we weren't like the best of friends, but that didn't take away from nothing. It was just like we was down for the cause, but it wasn't like we were, friends and hanging out and spending time. Like that would have been a luxury. But we weren't the best of buddies on the field.
No, I get what you're saying, but you had no friends on the team is what I'm asking. Was there no friends on that championship team?
I did have friends. I did have friends on the team.
I knew that, Mo. I know that. That's what I'm trying to get at. You're trying to go around this statement. In order to win, that you got to have a friend on the team. To win championships, right? As the president of Titletown, I know these type of things. The teams that win, they really like each other, man. Because when it gets really tough, it's hard to find a reason to keep going with people that you don't really like that, right? So it's the same way in a marriage or anything. If it gets tough and you don't really like the person, you're like, hey, I don't really like them like that anyway, But when it comes to this championships, you'll find people like we talking about AJ Brown, right? And when it comes to Jalen Hurts. At one point, they must have been cool because one of them thought they should have been invited to the wedding, right? So if you think you're going to the wedding and then they don't invite you to the wedding, then this become clean up PR where you say, you know what? I mean, we ain't have to be friends. Yeah, because now you don't have an invite. If you don't have an invite, you got to cover up the fact that they didn't invite you, right, Larry? if you find out your boy getting married and then you ain't got a ticket and everybody like, oh, and they partying and you start seeing the video, everybody like, well, where were you? You can't say, oh, he don't fool with me. You say, you know, I didn't need to be there. You know, I didn't need that for the relationship. So you're gonna play it down. Not to say this is what AJ Brown did, but that's what it feels like. So if you're a quarterback and you're a wide receiver, you mean to tell me, Mo, the quarterback and the wide receiver don't have to be cool? They have to. They gotta spend time and pause if you want them to throw you the ball. I mean, because he's gonna throw it to who he likes most of the time. If that's his man, he gonna make sure his man get paused. This is gonna sound crazy, but he gonna make sure his man get the yards that he need. I mean, that's what I would think.
I think that being friends boosts morale.
Yeah.
And it boosts morale, and y'all are fighting for the same cause to where y'all could talk about shit when it's not, the game is not going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time we do some units, me and my man Suge, he fly out here, we go to dinner. Even though half time we want to even do half shit. Nah, killer, we made this. Now you going to dinner? I don't care. I'm like, I'm not going. Nah, we got to do it. We just made like, you know. And then I'll be like, all right, fine, let's go. Cause he's trying to boost morale, and I gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? So he's a team player, so I get that. But it's so that's the question. Do you have to have friends or a friend? Because I think most have friends, and Mase said you have to have a friend.
Yeah.
So
you gotta have a friend.
Okay, a friend. That may be different because I was gonna say, I don't know if anybody like Mike or Kobe. I'm just sitting there thinking about that. Didn't seem like Kobe had any friends on the team. It looked like niggas.
Good point.
Yeah, like Kobe was militant. He was strict. I don't think he liked anybody. Mike might have had Charles Oakley. When Charles Oakley, before he got traded to the Knicks, you look at The Last Dance, ain't nobody really hanging out with Mike after these games. Mike started going off to gamble with other niggas. Hey, Mike friends was his security guards. He was hanging out with them niggas, playing games. So when you sitting there saying friends and you think about the greatest of greatest, you like, them niggas said, I'm not really here to be your friend.
Yeah, but one of them niggas on the team was friends. That's what I'm saying. Somebody on there.
I'm asking you, who? I get people wrong.
Probably like Pippen and one of them.
Oh, you saying outside of them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, some niggas just gonna be friends.
Yeah, probably, you gotta have some friends on the team.
All 11 niggas was friends outside of Mike. Yeah, I'm not saying
that works.
Yeah. If that's the case, I think if we talk about the greatest niggas on the team, some of them niggas didn't fuck. But yeah, you probably right about that. All 11 other niggas probably was like, yo, fuck homeboy. This nigga's crazy. So I don't think that you have to, but I think it's good that you should have teammates. Especially, look, when you think about this, when you think about a quarterback and wide receiver, you definitely should be on the same page. When we say and talk to Michael Irvin, to this day, he praises Troy Aikman. To this day. You know, and I'm not sitting there throwing no shots, and you can say whatever you want to say. You know who's one of the best wide receivers with no Super Bowl? Terrell Owens. Did he get along with any quarterback that he ever played with? He had a problem with every quarterback that he played with. Donovan McNabb. The problem with Steve Young. You got a problem with Tony Romo. You just go to the interview, start crying. That's my quarter. Listen, man. Wide receivers and quarterbacks, that's one of the most, outside of, we take basketball out the equation. That's a relationship that niggas need to be going to dinner and talking to, because your paycheck is valued on this nigga throwing you the ball. Yeah. It's valued on that. So you should have a great relationship with your wide receiver. And once that's out the window, it's bad, especially on the quarterback's behalf, because he'd be like, oh, I ain't see you. You was open? Oh shit, my
Yeah, you
bad.
start having them dry conversations.
Yeah. One word joints. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, Mase made a great point. Maybe I misunderstood it. Some niggas is friends, but I guess the best nigga don't have to be your friend, but other niggas was friends. I get that, absolutely.
Yeah, and the correction was that Jalen Hurts didn't make it to the wedding. It wasn't AJ Brown.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't go to AJ Brown's
Yeah.
wedding, but Jalen Hurts is also the godfather of his daughter. So people were always wondering, like,
But that's probably when the relationship was good, and then you probably knew when he ain't show up to the wedding that shit's shaky. Oh, he really ain't show up. Oh yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it's really what we thought it was.
Right. And one last thing to disagree with you on Mase is that when you said when a marriage get tough, sometimes niggas be like, I'm getting a divorce. So sometimes people can't afford it. Some people are in relationships right now with somebody they don't want to be with because the bills got to get paid. They can't afford to live the lifestyle that they want to live on their own. I seen a comedian say, this bitch don't know she one come up away from me leaving. All I need is one come up and it's over. So sometimes you may be mentally clocked out, but you can't afford to live on your own. So shout out to y'all though. I hope it gets better.
shout out, thanks.
Yeah, he can't be abused a while.
Yeah, no, because you know why? Because sometimes I gotta remind Dollar. We live a great life, man. Like for real, man. For real, like dead ass, bro. Like you gotta think about the nigga. Like yo, if I can afford to leave this bitch, or the other reverse, man. If this nigga wasn't paying these bills, yo. It's a lot of people, male or female. You'll come up away. Comedian once said, from being an ex.
Terrible situation to be in.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Just stuck.
Imagine, you know what I mean? I used to not understand it. My grandfather would come home from work and just sit in his car for like 2 hours.
Yeah, can't so pessimistic, right? You said 2 hours.
Nigga just sitting there after work.
Just sitting there like, I gotta go in.
Yeah, I gotta go in this damn house.
He's getting his mind together.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% right.
Yeah, I asked how did the day go?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, listen, like I said, it's a luxury. Like, I had one bathroom. So you can't run for the house from somebody. You know,
keep going.
You know, in Harlem, the best thing that the tenements had was railroad apartments. So our whole way was long. When you live in these little duplex 1199, you in each other's face. You, excuse me, and go to the bathroom and all that. You can't run, man.
I want to ask you guys a more like holistic question because I know we answered it about sports, and Maurice, obviously you had a different perspective, which I don't know if it's still the same or not, and you can elaborate about that in a second. But how do you guys feel about friendships specifically in the industry? Because I feel like the saying is always, it's lonely at the top, and for massive success, a lot of people feel as if that's not really a thing. Do you guys feel like relationships and friendships are important, or not necessarily, not just within sports, but just the industry as a whole? Actually, I'm gonna let you go first, Mase, because yeah.
Oh, I think when it comes to the music industry, I don't believe they are friends. I believe if you're hot enough, everybody deals with you. That has been my understanding. And if you stay hot, then people stay like somehow, you know, leaning towards what you have to say in your phone calls. But when you're ice cold, there's probably, that phone is probably hard to pick up. Like, I won't say any names, but there's people that probably could call Cam's phone right now, and he would know it's them. He won't pick up, you know. It's just not a reason to do it, you know.
I learned from you, man. That's yeah, I learned from the best.
Quick on your feet. Yeah, for real. There's some people, that's how the music business is. And I remember one time I was telling my wife that, she was like, "Why did you say that to that person?" I said, "Babe, you can't burn bridges in this business. If you're hot enough, they have to deal with you. If you're not, And when you're not, they don't have to deal with you. It don't matter how much of a good person you were. There's people that's not going to put you in that position because they just don't have a need for you. And sometimes that's what breaks a lot of celebrities' heart. Because they think when they were here that the same treatment is going to be there. And it's just not.
Yeah, I totally agree. My opinion is, it goes like this, right? So when you first start doing music, you try to bring your friends along. It's just, you try to find a job, you do this, we're going to turn you into a rapper, you do this. And then some people make it and some people don't. Some people will fall off that didn't work out and you gave them a grace period because you don't know if it's going to work out for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and whoever doesn't make it, and if you start making it without them, some people are cool. Like I got people right now, right, that I haven't spoke to in 2-3 months. Like for instance, right, like my nigga AJ, right? Mm-hmm. You know I'm busy and shit. That's my nigga. He ain't hitting me with no, yo, this nigga Cam on some bullshit. This nigga's whack. Motherfucker, I may miss, because I don't have notifications on my phone, so by the time I get to DM or text or whatever, fucking 8-9 days may have went by, and I don't mean no malicious by, but I don't get them texts from him like, yo, my man, what's up with you? Why you ain't picking up? Yo, I get yo, keep doing your thing, nigga. I seen you, da-da-da. I love him for that. Then I got other niggas send me like, yo, if you don't want to speak to me, just say that. I'm not and you like, yo, I ain't gonna name the niggas who said it. If you don't want to speak to me, yo, I'm not one of your bitches. Just say that, my nigga, da-da-da. And I take that text as like, now I'm not gonna speak to you because that was uncalled for. I see you busy and all. If you see that, then what's the problem? What's the problem?
Why do men get that invested in other men? That's crazy.
Yeah. So back to what Mase is saying is that, look, if you do have friends, as long as, even though we had a rocky relationship, it's a treasure. And cool because relationships don't really last that long, especially in this industry, even though we're not doing music. But you think about, I'm just giving friends starting each other. Now let's go to the other equation from the person who helped you get your deal. You may build a friendship with the person who helped you get your deal, but they only got you your deal because they thought they was going to make money too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I sat there and evaluated 1 year, like I'm talking about the niggas that I used to be around, I've been around. And I'd be like, yo, would y'all niggas have been cool with me if I wasn't doing music?
That's a good question.
That's the point. And no, I wouldn't even met half you niggas if I wasn't doing music or help get deals or whatever, anything else. You only got cool with me because I was doing music. Somebody like the nigga like Duke the God, I gotta say Duke the God, Duke the God is down. That's bloodshed, man. You my man, this, that, third. We was stealing your mom's car, going to skate key, all that. Duke the God was my man. And of course you, Mase. I'm just talking about niggas outside our relationship. Before any music was realistic. Everybody else was only cool because I was doing music.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the top of the gate. Screaming, kill it, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We won the MVP.
Yeah, listen, I spent the night at Mase, man. I used to live in Mase. You know what it's like? No, you don't know what it's like.
You know.
I don't know how Mase didn't have no house. He lived on the 6th floor. We had to go up and down stairs 5-6 times a day. And it wasn't a big deal. It was all good. The parties was around the corner. The Jamaican spot upstairs. Listen, man, we had a great time. I'm talking about all of us. I'm talking about BBO, Zig, Gus, Woods. It was a great time. But it's very few. When you sit there and think about it, you be like, would these niggas be cool if I wasn't going to be a basketball player or entertainer and anything else? And that's what you have to realize, like, who really your friends are. And if you stay friends even through, don't get me wrong, you meet great people on the journey and you be like, nah, this turned into a great friendship. This shit was dope. But then when it don't be dope, you be like, let me backtrack and see how this nigga's got next to me anyway.
How did this happen?
Yeah. You gotta backtrack and figure out, how did it get to this? So,
whole world.
That's crazy. So Killer, who I gotta talk to about getting my plaques? Cause I never got a plaque for anything.
Not even your records?
Yeah.
Never. Karen Civil get your plaques. You got mad plaques because you have to get all the plaques that features you was on, whether it's Brandy or Brian McKnight, or anybody else. I got all my shit. I ain't bringing up R. Kelly, Mariah Carey. I was part of them shit. I count them sales towards my discography. Mariah Carey said 3 million. I'm on the single. It's my 3 million.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So you, that's what I'm trying to say. You got to tally up your sales because you always just go off.
Yeah.
Your album. Whoever you was featured on, that's part of your sales and your discography. That's I tally mine up because the checks is the same. So she be getting plaques. I'll reach out to her for you.
That'd be dope. Maurice, final thoughts on friendships in the industry?
No, what I was going to say was that it's pretty much the same way in football. And when I heard them describe, to me, I kind of heard it and made my point that stuff be situational and circumstantial. And that's how a lot of relationships in football are. So they don't really be friendships, but people end up winning. And then kind of like how Cam did it when he had to say, let me sit back, reflect, and let me be introspective about were these really relationships and friendships. You realize that they weren't. That's why you hear the things that are spoken, like we hear about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady not liking each other. It was never really a friendship. You know what I'm saying? It was like circumstantial towards what they were chasing. And then you hear these dudes that talk crazy about Russell Wilson all those years that he was out there in Seattle and they had the Legion of Boom and all that stuff. And so it was just an interesting question, like, the fact that it's like that in music, it's the same thing in football. And I think it's people who end up coming together and they're chasing something. And if, one person has success, another person doesn't, these real feelings start to slip out, about how people feel about one another. And I would just, I just wanted to hear their perspective on it.
Yeah.
That's real. Because it's like when you know when you're in somebody is really cool because it's like when you see them elevate, it should get you excited. Yes. Like when you see them doing better, you see them doing bigger stuff. You're not sitting there like, why are they doing this? You want to see them go up because that gets you hype. If you really feel like it's all like one family and one friendship. That's the way I think. Yeah, like I never seen nobody succeed, and I was sitting there like, man, why that ain't me? Like, no, I don't.
That's a fact. I was just on Max Kellerman and Rich Paul show. Shout out to them. Their show is really dope. And Max Kellerman was saying how he said, Mase killed that freestyle he did on the show. That freestyle was crazy. It's in the interview. He said, yo, Kim, I know that raised your temperature, made you want to get in the booth and go do some shit. I said, no, the hell it didn't. I want the nigga to go do more. So, and I'm telling the nigga, I say, I'm not in no competition with this nigga. You think go watch the show, it's on Netflix. I said, no, I did not try and run in the booth. I told nigga more. I said, look, you see this phone? I wish I could play something for you right now. I told him, this is all on Netflix. It's on the show. You can go watch it. And I said, no, I did not run to the booth. I encouraged him to go do another one.
Yeah, for real.
And because I know how great of a rapper Mase is, and I'm just discouraged. Not discouraged. I'm disappointed that the world can't hear it, but I understand why. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand it, but oh well. I miss out because I listen in the car at least 3 times a month.
I have one more final question for all y'all, just because we're on the conversation of friendships, and obviously it only gets harder the more success that you have. When was like the last time you guys had, in your opinion, made a new friendship? Like when was that? Because I feel like a lot of you guys' friendships are people that you've known for quite some time. Like for you to realize like, look, this is like somebody that I consider a friend. When was that last time? Maurice, gonna let you go first.
I would say probably through the show for me. And it's easier for this because the people on the other side of the screen don't want nothing from it. And so I typically have to make friends with people who are like just above me in some regard. Because they don't need you. I don't need nothing from them. They don't need nothing from me, and they've already lived a lot of life that I've not lived yet. you know what I'm saying, or done things that I've not done, so it's pure. Then I think a lot of things don't work out just because people don't understand their position, pause, that they may be with somebody. So I would say for that, for me, it's tougher here in Ohio because like that's a little bit tougher. But I would say just through this show and with you all, you know, it's probably time that I've got new friends.
That was dope, Mo. That's good. It's always good if you think you're a friend of somebody and they think you're a friend too. You know, it's not good if you think you're a friend and they don't think the same thing. So I'm glad we share the same center. It'd have been crazy if I thought, oh no, man, this nigga Mo is cool, and then you got on there and you're like, yo, Chad from Delaware. You're like, oh, maybe I missed.
Never mind. I won't go.
That's why I said let Mo go first.
Just like he did the award.
Yeah.
Same way.
Well, of course, Mo, you know you my brother even before the show. But let me think. I would say Nick, but I pay Nick, so I don't really know if Nick's my friend. Would Nick be my friend if I'm not paying him? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's cool. Nick's a cool nigga. Like,
yeah,
I
you gotta find out.
Yeah, but I don't know if Nick would be my man if I wasn't paying him. All right, the last two friends I made, I'll say this, even though it's going on 10 years, I'll say Larry. Larry's probably, because I've known the people that's around me, I've known a long time. Like, trying to think of somebody that I met recently. Like PT, I know PT 25 years. Like, I be around niggas that I know. It's really crazy. I'm this older. You know how niggas be like, when you was young, they be like, we've known each other 20 years. Like, this is really a fact now at this point. But I'll say Larry, I remember I used to come to Vegas before I lived out here. And Larry was really cool. He had his grow, and Larry was doing shit he ain't have to do. Larry would give me like, Cam, hey, look, I got you a weed license. You're a weed license owner. And I'm like, word, I could deal weed, nigga. Like, I could deal weed. And then Larry would be like, yo, here, take this ticket. You gonna win this baseball game. And I'm like, I don't fucking want to bet, Larry. He's like, nah, it's a guarantee. Then he gave me a ticket, and I won $8,000 off some. He was just being nice because it was a guaranteed bet. And you know, I came here. He told me that, yo, Cam, don't rent no cars when you're here. I got 7 cars. Take one of my cars. Don't pay for a hotel. I done killed these hotels where you get comp. So Larry was a real friend before. And then I'm not saying all because you was giving me shit, because I would turn it down. Half the shit I'd be like, nah, I just feel better when I pay for it. But some of the stuff I would accept too. But thank you, man. So it's cool that Larry, my friend. And then that's the last friend I met as far as like human. My new twist friends are my dogs. Oh. So that's my latest friends, Tina and Rico. So,
oh my God. Yeah. You like them dogs.
That's my newest friends, man.
Oh Lord.
They cool. And my niggas, and I ain't got to deal with a lot with them, man. No emotions and nothing, man.
None of that.
Yeah.
Well, I love this conversation. That was super.
Who are your new friends, Stat?
My new friend, they literally would be y'all, because I'd be scared to meet people nowadays. Like, I always be like, yeah, like I'm young, and I know I am, but at this point, it's going on how many, 3 years now? Which time is flying. Like I said, I'm 25. Like, I don't really be meeting people anymore. I be kind of scared. So I feel safe here, and I always say that. And safety makes me feel great. So yes, that's what I would say. But
yeah, I would say like PT is probably one of those people that I think is like a friend, and then a guy named Mayo. Pause.
But you didn't just meet PT. She said your newest friends.
Oh, newest.
Yeah.
I
literally within like a year, 2, 3, if that even counts.
Probably a guy named Mayo.
Because it's hard. It is harder now. Like, especially now, the more that you do things, you never know what's genuine. You don't know what is. It's hard.
Hey, hold on. Let's be clear for the question. So all y'all niggas just my friends now.
For years.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you.
Yeah, we're not saying you're not our friends. So all my niggas I fuck
like,
with.
You got on the show. You didn't say my name.
Yeah. It's a bunch of friends, but I've known y'all over a decade minimum.
She said in the last year or two.
Yes, or the newest. It could be the newest.
Yes, that for sure. Okay, well, great discussion here, y'all. But that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Damn.
Mo pocket watching.
Right with y'all. Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Have a good one.
Thank y'all.
Have you ever stopped and asked yourself whether real success actually depends on being best friends with the people around you? Most people never even consider that question. But the story of Mase and Cameron, two icons who played major roles in shaping Harlem hip-hop, might completely flip the way you see it. On the surface, a lot of fans assumed these two shared some lifelong, unshakable bond, but that narrative doesn't tell the full story. Their paths overlapped during Harlem's rise. Both spent time connected to Bad Boy during different eras, and they moved through many of the same industry spaces. Yet despite all of that, they were never viewed as inseparable in the traditional sense. And surprisingly, that may have been one of the biggest reasons both men continued to thrive. This is where so many people misunderstand the formula. They assume long-term success in music, business, or sports is built entirely on loyalty and close friendships. In reality, the strongest alliances are often built around a common objective, not years of personal history. That's a major distinction. A friend may help you recover after a setback, but a true professional partner has stakes in the outcome too, meaning they're equally invested in making sure the mission succeeds. And trust me, that changes the entire dynamic. You see this play out across sports history time and time again. Some of the greatest championship duos were driven more by mutual respect and competition than genuine friendship. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal won 3 consecutive NBA championships, even while dealing with well-documented friction behind the scenes. Believe it or not, it wasn't friendship that made them dominant. It was the constant desire to outwork and outshine one another while chasing the exact same prize. That tension pushed both superstars to levels they may never have reached otherwise. A championship culture doesn't demand best friends. It demands total commitment to excellence. And that pressure forced both legends to elevate every aspect of their game. Phil Jackson understood this concept better than almost anybody. Rather than trying to turn teammates into lifelong friends, he aligned everyone behind one shared purpose. That's still the model elite organizations rely on today. You don't have to personally love everyone you work beside. What matters most is respecting what they bring to the table and remaining committed to the same goal. Now bring that conversation back to Mase and Cameron, because this is where things become really fascinating. When Cameron launched Diplomat Records and turned the Diplomats into one of the defining cultural forces of the early 2000s, he wasn't simply surrounding himself with friends. He strategically brought in talent like Jules Santana, Jim Jones, and Freaky Zeke, because each artist added something different to the movement. Cam understood exactly what Harlem audiences wanted and built a team capable of delivering every piece of that vision. That wasn't accidental, it was calculated. Mase took an entirely different route. At the peak of his career, he walked away from music to focus on ministry, stepping away from the spotlight altogether. By the time he returned, the industry had changed dramatically, forcing him to rebuild meaningful relationships from scratch. The opportunities still available to him weren't rooted in old friendships. They existed because people respected his body of work, his professionalism, and everything he had already achieved. Long after personal relationships faded, his reputation continued opening doors. And that's a lesson every entrepreneur, content creator, and professional needs to understand. Your success isn't measured by the number of friends you have. It's measured by the value you create. Network isn't defined by how many friends you can count. It's defined by how many people genuinely trust your work. Every individual who has seen you consistently perform at a high level becomes someone willing to support, recommend, or collaborate with you later on. In the end, reputation travels much farther than friendship ever will. Sports executives have been operating by this mindset for generations. Championship teams aren't constructed around friendship groups. They're built on clearly assigned roles, accountability, discipline, and trust. Just look at the San Antonio Spurs during Greg Popovich's legendary run. Their dominance wasn't the result of players constantly hanging out off the court. It came from every individual knowing precisely what their job was and executing it at the highest level. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili came from completely different worlds, different nations, different temperaments, different journeys through life. Still, they all committed themselves to the exact same championship expectation. That's the very principle reflected in both Cameron and Mase, even if each man approaches it in his own way. Cam has repeatedly shown that trust isn't granted because of history, it's earned through behavior. Ironically, some of the people he had known the longest ended up creating some of his biggest challenges. Mase arrives at a similar conclusion, just from a different angle. In entertainment, lasting relationships have to be rooted in honesty, professionalism, and respect. Once fame and money enter the equation, shaky friendships are often the first things to fall apart. One of the costliest mistakes people make in sports, business, and entertainment is mistaking familiarity for genuine partnership. Just because someone is constantly in your circle doesn't necessarily mean they're helping you build something lasting. On the flip side, someone who isn't part of your inner circle could end up becoming one of the most important professional allies you'll ever have. That's a reality far too many people fail to recognize. Think about some of the most iconic business partnerships ever created. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak weren't remembered simply because they were friends. They changed history because their talents complemented each other perfectly when opportunity knocked. Their professional chemistry reshaped an industry long before anyone focused on the personal side of their relationship. The mission always came first. It still does. In the world Cameron and Mase came up in, filled with record deals, business negotiations, public scrutiny, and street dynamics, friendship could sometimes become a liability rather than an asset. Friends may shield each other from uncomfortable truths. Business partners don't have that luxury because every bad decision impacts the entire operation. That ability to separate emotions from execution is often what turns short-term wins into lasting empires. So what's the real takeaway here? The answer is no. You don't need friendship to accomplish greatness together. What matters far more is shared respect, aligned objectives, clearly understood roles, and the maturity to keep personal feelings from interfering with business. Friendships can absolutely develop over time, and in many cases they naturally will, but they should never be the foundation everything else depends on. The work comes first. The standard comes first, and that shared drive to succeed will always outweigh everything else. Mase and Cameron demonstrated that two people can come from the same city, shape the same culture, and leave undeniable legacies without ever being inseparable friends. That's the part so many people miss. The real world rewards those who understand the difference between friendship and authentic partnership. And once that lesson clicks, your entire perspective changes.